Hi Bookends! Welcome to this week's 10-minute book review. I'm 10. This week's review is going to be on A Danger to Herself and Others by Alyssa Sheinmel. We like to start off every book review with a star point, as in out of 10 stars, how many stars would this book garner, and also a rating, as in if it's a movie or a TV show, would it be rated PG-R, like would it be rated. So for a star point, this is a 10 out of 10. We really enjoyed it. For rating, it is a PG-13, not because of what's actually done in the book, but because of what's mentioned in the book. So the main player is Hannah Gold, and we meet her while she's in an insane asylum because of a misunderstanding that ended up causing the hurt or death or injury of a friend of hers. We don't really know at the beginning of the book, and the friend's name is Agnes. So we start off with her telling us basically where she is and a short glimpse into what happened, which is she became friends with a girl that she met while in a summer program in California. And the girl ended up being her roommate. Her name was Agnes. She also met a boy by the name of Jonah Wyatt, who she started having a crush on, but he started dating Agnes. And about a week after he started dating Agnes, he and Hannah started hooking up. Hannah is very honest about her shortcomings. However, she doesn't particularly see them as shortcomings. It's like someone saying to you, I'm a murderer. Just saying that they're a murderer. Not saying it's bad that they murder people, but just saying I'm a murderer. It is what it is. So Hannah admits to her faults without actually admitting guilt. So apparently, somehow or another, an accident happened where Agnes was badly injured. We don't know if she's alive or not at this point, but she was badly injured. Hannah meets with a doctor who she calls Lightfoot, and she calls her that because of the ballet slippers, or ballet slipper-esque, shoes that the doctor wears when she comes to see her. And of course it's because they're in an insane asylum, and Hannah found out that she was labeled a danger to herself and others. So the doctor, you know, wears shoes that can't be used to harm her. She sits in a plastic chair when she comes in and takes the plastic chair back with her. The furniture is bolted down. Yeah. So Hannah finds the whole situation annoying and finds the doctor condescending, and so she condescends to the doctor as well. Like whenever the doctor talks, she's correcting her grammatically in her head. Now Hannah's not stupid, and I love this about her because you find a lot of stupid YA heroines. Hannah is not stupid. She reads the situation, she understands the situation, and she acts accordingly to it. For example, while the doctor is talking to her, she has all these thoughts about hating the place where she is, not wanting to be there, but she also remembers that she has to act a certain way if she hopes to be let out of there. So she doesn't have all of these outbursts for no reason. I think out of the book she has 2 outbursts, and they're both paced evenly by the author and for good reasons. So yeah, the character is a thinking person, right? Even though she may be thinking, I hate you, Dr. Lightfoot, out of her mouth she's like, oh, that's a good point, thank you. She's a thinker, and that's something I appreciated. As the book progresses, we learn that over the years Hannah has had other best friends, and this wasn't the first one to be injured in her presence. When she was 12, she was playing a game called Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board, where it's basically your friends, you lay on the floor and your friends try to lift you with their fingers, and it works for like a few seconds because, you know, physics. But then of course you fall back down. They did this with a girl at a party, and she fell down and hit her head and hurt herself. We fast forward to Agnes, and you know, they play little games too, but Agnes keeps mentioning we're too old for games. We don't know why she keeps mentioning this, because we're seeing all this through Hannah, and Hannah is only giving us glimpses into what's happening. Later on in her confinement, she gets a roommate, which is kind of odd for someone who has been labeled a danger to themselves and others to get a roommate, but maybe they're seeing that she's not so dangerous after all. Her roommate is Lucy Quintana, and she is a ballerina. But she is in the insane asylum for bulimia and occasional anorexia. So they become friends. Hannah reasons that they put this girl in there as a test for her. And if she's able to become friends easily with this girl, they'll see that she's not really a danger to herself or anyone, and then they'll release her to go back home so she can start her school year and get into an Ivy League college, like what she really wants to do. She ends up helping Lucy break out so she can go to a ballerina school interview. It's like this really prestigious ballerina school in California that she really wanted to get into, and there's only 5 slots. And so even though Hannah misses the first day of school, which she was really hoping to get, be able to go to, she helps her new friend Lucy get to go to her interview, and the girl nails it. I thought it was kind of odd that she broke her out and then the girl comes back, which the girl's like, okay, well, I would be in more trouble if I stayed away than I would be if I left, but I'm so happy you helped me get in to the school. She and Hannah and Lightfoot continue to have conversations, and she ends up bringing up Jonah. And she thinks, oh my God, you're so stupid. Why did you bring up Jonah? That's what she's in her monologue and thinking. And the doctor asks, like, who's Jonah? And she's like, oh, just a guy that I liked, but didn't date because he was dating Agnes. And Agnes was my best friend. And so the doctor looks at her confused. She's like, wait a minute. Agnes's boyfriend was named Matt. And Matt never came to the summer program. He's back in Utah, where she's from. That makes Hannah pause, because she's like, wait a minute. Best friends tell friends everything. And like, I know I didn't tell her that I was hooking up with her boyfriend, but you would think that she would tell me she had another boyfriend in Utah. So Hannah plays it off like she already knew, because she has to make the doctor believe that her and Agnes were best friends. So she's like, oh yeah, she told me about Matt, but they were on a break when she came out here and she wanted a fresh new start. That's why she started dating Jonah Wyatt. The doctor's like, okay, all right. On their next session, the doctor comes back and says, hey, looked up Jonah Wyatt, and there was no Jonah Wyatt staying in your dorm. There's no Jonah Wyatt on the charter for the school, and there's no Jonah Wyatt in the immediate area of the school. So who's Jonah Wyatt? Hannah thinks that the doctor is playing a trick on her, but she can't really be certain or not. So she's like, well, maybe that was his middle name. Maybe he goes by his middle name. Maybe he doesn't like his first name. But then she starts to think to herself, did anyone else interact with Jonah? Did Jonah have a conversation with anyone else but herself? Yeah. So now she's starting to think, did Jonah sneak in? Like, was Jonah not really in the school even though he went to classes? Was he just some weirdo who snuck into the program, went to classes, made out with her best friend, and then left? Or is it something deeper than that? The doctor tries to get her to believe that Jonah isn't a real person. She's like, no, he is a real person. Like, I remember he had calluses on his thumb, and I could feel the calluses on his thumb when he held my hand. I remember the smell of his hair, the feel of his lips against mine, the way he laughed, the way he smiled. He had brown eyes like a fox. And if I was going to make somebody up, why wouldn't I make up a perfect boyfriend for myself? Why would I make up some skeeve that I got to share with another girl because he says I'm not good enough to date? Which makes perfect sense. Like, if I'm going to make up a make-believe boyfriend, then why would I make up one that fits my criteria for a boyfriend, and not make up someone who's going to basically have me on the side for when he finishes his meal? So, yeah, she doesn't want to believe the doctor, but then she's caught in between like two things. So she's like, I can't confirm it myself. I'm stuck in here. I don't have his phone number. I can't remember it. Then she thinks about it. Like, wait a minute. He never gave me his number. Or his address. Or his Facebook. Or his Instagram. Or his Twitter. And it's like, those are things that you exchange with someone almost immediately. So, like, what's going on? She starts talking to Lucy. And, Lucy doesn't know how to help her with it. And she ends up having kind of a psychotic break, and she has to be sedated. When she's under the influence of the sedation, the doctor's like, listen, I think that you should try taking antipsychotics. I hope you agree to it. And, you know, basically, if she doesn't agree to it, she's gonna have to take it anyway, because she's in an insane asylum. So they can either give it to you in a pill or give it to you in a needle, but they're gonna give it to you. So the doctor didn't say it like that, but of course we know. So Lucy convinces her to start taking the antipsychotics, by saying that, you know, if you're well, nothing's going to happen. If you're not well, just hope you to be a little clearer, and they're going to make you do it anyway. Hannah takes the antipsychotics, and she doesn't know if they're working or not, but she starts taking them for a couple of days. And she ends up having another psychotic break while she's talking to the doctor, because the doctor is once again telling her that we can't find any Jonah. There is no Jonah. And Hannah is starting to come to reason, like, the doctor's right, there is no Jonah. I never noticed him interacting with anyone else. I never noticed him speaking to anyone else. I've never seen him with anyone else. And so she's starting to realize, dude, I just might be crazy. I just might be crazy. And so she ends up having a psychotic break, and they sedate her again. While she's in this sedated state, Lucy comes over to her bed and starts whispering to her, like, hey, don't take your meds tonight, because I have something I want to tell you. So she doesn't take her meds that night, and Lucy comes back over with lights, when the lights are out and everything. And she starts whispering to her again, like, you know why I'm in here? And Hannah's like, yeah, you're a bulimic. And Lucy's like, and anorexic. Like, you know, don't count some of my stuff out. But that's not the reason why I'm here. And so Hannah's like, okay, why are you here? So Lucy tells her that there was this girl named Rhiannon who was effortlessly skinny. She was another ballerina, and she never worried about eating bad foods or cutting bad foods out of her diet, because she never cared about them and never liked them anyway. And she just thought that she was so perfect. And because she didn't like her, because Lucy didn't like her, she decided to do something to her. And Hannah was like, what did you do? And she's like, Lucy, what did you do? She opens her eyes, so she has had her eyes closed this entire time. When she opens her eyes, Lucy is gone. And the last thing Lucy whispered to her is, just a tap. I wanted to see what would happen, just a tap. When she opens her eyes, Lucy is gone. It's nice she could see her anyway, because there's not really much light in the room. But she keeps calling Lucy's name, and Lucy doesn't answer. So she goes over to Lucy's bed. You know, she's feeling around on the floor. And she starts screaming, Lucy, Lucy. And they turn on the light, come in to get her. And they're like, you know, what did you do with Lucy? And the doctor's like, who's Lucy? It's like, Lucy Quintana, my roommate. You put her in here with me. Where did she go? And the doctor's like, there was never another roommate. And Hannah is like, what do you mean there's never another roommate? Her bed is right there. And when she looks over, the bed is gone. The second bed in the room that was bolted down to the floor is gone. And so now she's flipping out, like, what are you people trying to do to me? Are you trying to make me think I'm crazy on purpose so you can put whatever happened to Agnes on me? So we end up finding out that what happened was they ended up playing a game of truth or dare, and Agnes dared her to run up and down the hallway in her underwear, you know, outside of their dorm room, run up and down the hallway. And she dared Agnes to stand on the windowsill, outside of the windowsill. And when Agnes went to stand out there, she fell off the windowsill and hit her head on the ground. And apparently that caused some kind of brain damage or some kind of damage to her. We're not 100% sure what's going on. And that's how Hannah ended up in the insane asylum, because her parents are like, you did this to her. And Hannah's like, I didn't. We were playing Truth or Dare. And that's why she said it was a misunderstanding. They were playing Truth or Dare, and she's like, she fell. I didn't push her. She fell. So now she's under the belief that these people are trying to drive her crazy, but not only by saying that Jonah doesn't exist, but that she never had a roommate, when she knows for a fact she did have a roommate. This book was awesome. I loved the voice of the character. I love how in-depth it was. I loved how witty and intelligent she was. You know, usually when you find someone who is perceived to be insane or perceived to be a sociopath or a psychopath, they have this like crazy irk to them. Like, I hear voices, like a crazy irk to them. Hannah doesn't have a crazy irk to her. Hannah seems 100% normal, and she feels 100% normal. And you spend most of the book wondering, is it her or is it everyone else? Because the points that she makes make sense, and the points that other people make sense as well. It kind of reminds me of the first book that we reviewed on this channel. I'll try to put a link to it in the cards. But it was The Crazy One by Rebecca Marquez. Do I still have? I think, yeah, I had that book on my table. First book that we reviewed on our channel. The Crazy One by Rebecca Marquez. And the protagonist in this book was just as likable. It shows, I think my new favorite character, a new favorite genre is going to be intelligent crazy girl with good reason. Yeah, this book was really good. I would love to see this as a movie, as a thriller, because it would keep you guessing until the end. This is a spoiler free review, so if you want to know what ends up happening, whether they're actually trying to drive Hannah crazy on purpose to nail a murder on her or an assault on her that she didn't commit, or whether Hannah really is crazy and she's not owning up to her crazy because she doesn't realize that she is, you're gonna have to read the book. It was a I really recommend this book. It was so good. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching Bookends. Bye.